Hi guys, today you will listen to my topic expansion about listening styles. As you might know, there are tests you can take to see what your listening style is. And there are four different listening styles, and many people say that your listening style depends on your gender. I have chosen an article called Listening Styles Sex Differences in Perceptions of Self and Others. It is written by Stephanie Lee Sargent and James B. Weaver in 2003, and I found it in the International Journal of Listening. The article discusses whether men and women differ in their listening styles or if projections of sex differences primarily reflect cultural stereotypes. Women and men tend to score differently in how they perceive their own listening styles and other people's listening styles, and these are related to gender. In the article, they are also quoting another article called She Hears, He Hears What They Hear and Why, and it's written by Melanie Booth Butterfield, and she argues that males tend to hear facts, while females are more aware of the mood of the communication. So, in the article that I found, they created a study, and the authors went further in to discuss, test, and analyze their theory, and that is what I will briefly tell you about right now. The authors discusses whether these differences in perceptions of listening styles comes from the stereotyping of others based on gender because an individual's specific characteristics fit into a category, or whether the person analyzing the listening styles puts more attention to more specific attributes of another individual, or if they simply do not analyze another person's listening style as much and they will not care as much. We also form impressions of people listening styles on a foundation of individualized attributes. And that is kind of what I talked about with the stereotypes. Because, for example, men tend to be more blunt, aggressive, independent, ambitious, and domineering, while women tend to be more emotional, passive, gentle, chatty, and enthusiastic. And these characteristics for the different genders kind of take us into the four different listening styles. So, right here in front of you, you have the four different listening styles, where the first one is the people listening style, and that person is more concerned for others' emotions and feelings, and when they listen, they try to build a relationship. While on the other side, there's the action listening style, and those people prefer concise, error free presentations and easily get frustrated and impatient if they listen to long presentations and they cannot get any task out of it. And then there's the content listening style, where those people prefer receiving complex and challenging information that they can later on evaluate before they make any judgments or statements about a fact. And then there's the time oriented listening style, where those people prefer brief interactions and they tend to let other people know how much time they have or even how much time they have spent in the conversation already. Usually, females rate themselves higher on the people listening style, and men rate themselves higher on the content listening style. The authors hypothesize that it will be easier to perceive our own listening style, and that perceiving their peers' listening styles will be more guided by impressions and stereotypes, and it will be more ambiguous. So, to test these out, the authors recruited undergraduates at a university and asked computerized questionnaires asking how well each statement applied to themselves, male peers, and female peers, and they did this on a scale from 1 to 10. As you can see in this graph right in front of you, female respondents perceive themselves as higher on the people listening style than their female peers, and they put an even lower rating for their male peers. And the male respondents responded kind of the same as the females in the way that they thought themselves as higher on the people listening style than their female peers, and they also rated their male peers a lot lower on this scale. As for the content listening style, female respondents thought that they were almost equal to their male peers and they rated their female peers as lower on the scale. As for the male respondents, they thought that they were put higher on the scale for the content listening style than their male peers, and they put a lower rate on their female peers. At loss for an adequate theoretical explanation. Tend to hear facts while females are more aware of the mood of the communication. Thank you so much for listening.